I'd like to call Munhall Borough's workshop meeting to order for February 13th, 2024. I'd like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And we'd like our young lady to lead us. What's your name, ma'am?
Lexi.
Lexi? Cool. Lexi, please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Lexi. All right. Seth, can you start us off with a roll call?
Thank you. President Brennan.
Here.
Mr. Eads.
Here.
Mrs. Fry. Here. Mr. Rondo.
Here.
Mr. Shields. Here. Mr. Bodedian. Here. Mr. Youngkins has stated that he will attempt to be here when he can. Mayor Pulse.
Here.
Mayor Porter, sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. So we'd like to start our meeting off. We don't have any registered presenters tonight, so we'll go to the next public comment. If anyone has a public comment on anything, please go ahead and speak on. How does this read? It actually reads, it's just public comment.
Yep.
So please have the floor.
I don't want to stand up. I just want to talk about Patriot, the rehab center. The other day, well, I'm going to rehab, that's the first thing. So the other day,
I think I've seen you there.
I went to rehab, and so I parked my car, and I turned around. Now the kids are getting out of school. I'm always later than that. So I put my placard in the window, but I didn't realize that I had done that. So I turned around to look to see that I put it there, and I hear somebody yelling that they're calling me all kinds of names, and, well, I didn't know they were calling me that, and saying they were gonna beat me up and all this other stuff. And I looked, and they were talking to me.
They weren't.
They were, and I can't fight anymore, Ricky, so I can't beat them up. There were three of them. So.
These were pedestrians yelling at you, or people in
No, the kids from the school.
Kids from the school.
Kids from the school, and there were three boys, and so I went in, and the girl that's at the reception thing, I said, those kids were threatening me, and she goes, oh, did you look at them? And I said, well, I was looking to see, and I said, I guess they thought I was looking at them. She said, oh, you can't look at them, that's what they do. She said, we had a woman in a walker that was afraid to get out of her car because of them. And I said, do you call the police? And she said, well, we called the school, but the police won't do anything. And I said, that's not true. The police will do something.
If they know who it is.
So did you call the police?
No,
You probably should have.
I should have, but
Yeah.
I should have.
Right, chief?
Right.
Should have called.
So is there any way that they can get on there and sit? They said that those
We
kids
do.
actually run through the vestibule. They'll open up one door and open up another. But all these people that have gone there are like handicapped. They're big dudes. They're gonna beat them up, you know?
The whole shift on 311 patrols Main Street while they're walking home
Yeah.
every day.
But it's right, they were coming from the Dairy Delight up that way, you know, and it's just really bad, you know?
I've had some complaints on that too. Other than that, you know, that's been for a while now though.
For years.
Do they limit where they can go?
They try to.
Right, because you really can't stop anybody from going.
We can't enforce
No,
it.
you can't do that. You try to encourage them to go somewhere else.
They just bought, about 3 weeks ago in front of my house, so I called 911 right away. They says, is there any gunshots? And I said, no, I think they're just fist fighting. So I have cameras all around my house. So we didn't think much about it. So my daughter comes down, who works up at the middle school, and she says, let me look at your cameras. So we looked at the cameras, and she says, I know every one of them. And she went to school and got them all in trouble. So that's the only way, you can do it.
Nice.
Uh-huh.
We actually even have the principal drive around officers every once in a while, so, because we don't know who they are and they
Yeah.
give us bad names, so we use the principals to.
She knew every one of them. There was about 7 of them that got in trouble. Yeah. So that's the only way you can do it.
Well, I'm not gonna say what I thought should happen, but.
Yeah, well,
Say I'm making fun of it.
we're not allowed to say that nowadays.
If the chief could go undercover, and he could sit on the stool there in a raggedy old clothing, he could be a witness, and then he could arrest him. Chief?
Sounds like a plan.
Right.
We have to get you a wig and a.
Well, I'm gonna put it on TV.
Do you know if Patriot has cameras?
I don't know if they have cameras or not.
Do you know if Patriots have cameras? You don't know if they have them. If I had that kind of problem on a regular basis, I'd have cameras.
Yeah, that would be my recommendation. Once you get cameras, and you can even take some
Right.
of their pictures.
They're coming through the vestibule like that on a regular basis. Yeah,
Yes.
I'd do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be the way to do it.
Okay, anyone else for any public comments?
Rick, just seeing on our agenda, I personally would like to thank Darrell Hunt for all the work he did along with Seth to get savvy so that we will have the notification system in case of emergencies. We didn't have that before. We don't have that code red or anything. And that man on the end got it all started, and I thank him.
All right.
That was, give the credit for that,
I
he's all
said
the,
Seth too.
Okay. All right, so we're going to move down to standing reports from committees. Seth, I'll let you take this portion right here.
Actually, the chairs get to take it.
Right, I'll do it.
Well, I know, I'm going to ask you to ask for the finance. I'll do it then.
Finance.
All right, can I have the finance committee?
Yes, you may,
Seth
Mr.
doesn't
Brennan.
wanna do it. I'll step forward.
And we had as chair of the finance committee, we had our first official meeting of the year last night. And we are very, very early in the year as far as where we're at financially. We had like a bit of a windfall of about 125,000, where we're a little bit ahead of the game. But that won't last long. But we do have the loan, the pass-through loan that we have. And that will take us through till probably May. And as Seth talked, we'll try to pay that off as soon as possible when the tax money starts to come in on a regular basis. That'll get us through. That's the TAN loan, and we'll pay that back to keep the interest down. And as far as I go, it looks now we should be okay. But there is some budgeted items that are going to be a squeeze as far as being able to do them. If we take every bit of money in our budget, it's probably going to take us to the end of the year and we're not going to have anything left. So we'll have to look at budgeted items through the year, whether or not we're going to be able to go through with what we intended to do. As of now, we're okay.
Thank you, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we're going to go to Public Works, which I believe I'm the chair.
I was hoping to hold a mirror.
We did also have our first meeting of Public Works. It was a very good meeting. Our Public Works directors were there. Our three council people were there, Mr. Yunkins, Mr. Ondo, and myself. We talked on many subjects about the street conditions of the streets, and we have a proposal which Seth sent out, but I'm just holding this one chart where it's a map of the borough, and it shows all the little places where they're highlighting, and Seth will give us a little bit more detail on that when he speaks. Do you speak on this in this area?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're down there. I see it. He can give it.
I'm hiding at the bottom.
Okay, he can give a little bit more on that. We also talked about paving our own alleyways and getting equipment to do that, and it just was an odd stretch that, are we voting on that tonight?
We're going to discuss it.
We're gonna discuss this. We're gonna talk about the roller. We wanted to get a roller and Bob reached out to a company in the area who just happened to have a roller they were selling. It was just good luck that we did that. And the roller that we're hoping we purchase is about half the price of the retail what it should go for. So it's about a $25,000 roller, and we're going to get it for probably about $12,000, I think. So we're quite excited about that as far as the Public Works Committee, and I think we're going to sell the other roller as well. So it'll be a little flip flop, and the old roller that we have still functions, but it's just old. It's hard to get parts for. It's very hard to get parts for. And what we're planning on trying to do is we've come up with roads that we are going to pave ourselves and roads that we're gonna, alleys that we're gonna give out to have paved, because I'd really like to see us pave some of our alleys, because they're in terrible condition as well. So we're hoping that we can do that as well. So there's a lot we'd like to do, but there's only, like Mr. Shields said, there's only so much money that goes around, and it's a judgment. So we did meet, we discussed a lot of things, and I'm happy to report we have a great public works team, and we're doing well. So I'm going to move on to the Parks and Recreation Committee, and that's chaired by Ms. Fry. So Rainey, if you'd like to give us an update on your meeting, if you had a meeting.
We had a meeting. My committee consists of me, Kevin, and Tim Eads, and we met on Monday, February 5th. The three of us were trying to throw ideas out to hear what, some things could be done maybe with our parks or in our parks. And it was brought up that maybe we could have movie nights, maybe we could have a battle of the bands, just to get people to realize we have these parks. And then we mentioned about the tournaments that come to Westfield in the summer. We were thinking that maybe some of our groups, like the girls softball, the boys baseball, the girls and boys soccer, any of them, if they would like to consider using the concession stand, making some money, they take half and they give the borough half. I know we're not gonna get buku bucks, but the stand would be used. There's a lot of people come down here, there's no place running except the subway. And if you're not from this area, when you're down here for tournaments and you get thirsty for water unless you brought your own cooler, it'd be nice if we only sold water and hot dogs, But we did discuss that. And then our next meeting is going to be on March 4th, and upstairs in the community room, and we're going to, it's already been publicized. We would like to form a committee and get the input from some of the committee. They'll talk to us, we'll talk to them, we'll present it to council, and see what, some discussions would go on. That's my report.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Okay, Community and Property is headed by Mr. Yunkins. Who else is on his committee? Myself and Rini. I was not able to attend that meeting. So Rini, do you have anything you'd like to speak about that meeting as well?
That was last Thursday, and Dave Cannon joined us that day.
I did sit in on the meeting. I did sit in for a short time. I did. I forgot that I had done that.
And we decided that we would like to start looking into some of these areas where the houses are really bad, or maybe the whole street is bad. Or maybe if we could consider getting the street fixed, one street at a time instead of one house in Munhall Gardens and one house, they're on Main Street or wherever they are. We were just throwing it out there. Dave, do you have anything else? I wasn't aware that I would be presenting this.
So I wasn't either, but also I just add that at the meeting, we talked and discussed about ways that Munhall needs to get on top of our game. We need to find out what we can do and how we can acquire these vacant properties. Other towns somehow are acquiring vacant properties and reselling them. So we need to really work on that, and Dave and our committee is going to search and bring this to get together and see what we can do, because blight is blight, and we need to fight that as any which way we can, because blight brings a lot of things to the table that aren't good, and it's nothing. The chief will tell you how many vacant properties we have and how many calls they get to them, and how many fires are started at them, and it's just endless. So Dave, would you have anything else you wanted to say about that meeting that we had?
No, you pretty much summed it up with that.
Yeah, it was a good meeting. I couldn't stay for the whole meeting, but I did attend as well.
And
So-
we agreed that we would have another meeting this Thursday. You know, this isn't gonna be, let's get ahead and start to get involved and see what's out there.
Absolutely, and that's another area where I think we should have community
Involved.
involvement there, and we can get a committees with the public as well, and try to get people involved into fixing up their homes and fixing up the neighborhoods. So that's what it's really all about. Kevin, you're not posted here. Kevin is the chairman of the Veterans Committee, and he'd like you all to stand and raise and swear to the oath of the Marine Corps, but we're...
Well, yeah. Anyway, so I'm not on for the committee reports, but the Veterans Committee consists of Councilman Vodadian, Councilman Youngkins, and myself. So, and Seth, if I'm overstepping my bounds, but we're trying to get right now a grant? We're trying to get a grant to do the monument in Kennedy Park, down by the library. As far as we know, one of the Boy Scouts is going to do the monument up on Main Street.
I actually talked to him again today.
Yeah, he's going to redo it as for his Eagle Scout badge. Last year, we had a Boy Scout get his Eagle Scout badge because he did the monument, the Civil War monument in the Homestead Cemetery, which is really nice now. So our monument, I know I point in the wrong direction. Our monument here, right by the fire hall. So it's not really that bad. I am going to talk to Mr. Bicey from the street department to get us some new military flags. The weather just beats those things up. But what I would like to do, and I'm going to check into where and how we could get maybe a monument company, somebody who does like engraving on the bricks. Y'all seen them bricks with, you know, Sergeant so-and-so, you know, to reinstitute that where we start bringing people whose fathers, brothers, mothers, sisters, cousins to purchase a brick in recognition of their service. I know that, I don't know, Darryl, when was that instituted? I don't even know when that was, many years ago.
Yeah. At least 30 years ago that I know of.
Yeah, so I know that I went down there and I did find my father-in-law's. His was the only one that we in our family have. I would like to get a new brick for him because his has probably been there from like day one. It's pretty worn out and I had to search long and hard for it. But I would like to get his redone, mine, my father's, you know, and put bricks in there. But I don't know who does that anymore, who like engraves the bricks. So I think that would be pretty cool.
We have a connection for the monument company because it really,
Cool.
they do headstones and
Yeah.
all those pieces that we're working with and got the quote for the one down at Kennedy. I also know through my congregation, because they have an indoor where they've
Yes.
done that, that between those two, I can probably get at least a couple of quotes for potential for
That's great.
for engraving.
That's great.
I love it.
Seth is trying to get a grant for redoing the monument at Kennedy Park. And it's, 2 years ago, the borough went down there. It was literally covered in poison ivy. It was bad. And Bob sent guys down there and they did a marvelous job cleaning up like the little trees and shrubs and stuff like that. But the monument has mold, moss, whatever you want. But somebody stole one of the escutcheons. And the reason that it was stolen was because it was made out of bronze. So somebody took an extended period of time to pry that thing off the monument, take it down and probably get $2 for it at a junkyard. Why a junkyard would even pay somebody, like you could tell it came off of a war memorial. So if we get the grant, I would really like to get it done in something other than bronze. Something that if you pried it off, you're not gonna get anything for it if you take it to a scrapyard. So, I think that would be great. I think for us to get the bricks, I'm sure there's a lot of interest. I mean, y'all drove our streets and saw the flags, on the poles for veterans.
Right.
I'm sure we would have a great turnout of people saying, oh yeah, give me a brick, oh yeah, give me a brick. And fill that monument with bricks of loved ones or family, whatever, you know, so.
So are you talking Main Street or are you talking?
No, I'm talking out here.
Right here.
Okay.
But, so the Veterans Committee, we are not on a monthly basis where we would have a meeting. It's on a needed basis. Usually what we do is we meet before Memorial Day because of the ceremony that we have up at Homestead Cemetery. But that's my intentions or our intentions of what we would like to do, so.
How's the lighting there? There was lighting issues there many years ago, they fixed a lot of them.
You fixed them, right?
Over here?
Yeah,
No, yeah, I'm talking about here, and what about Kennedy? Between the two of them?
Kennedy's okay. Over
He's
here,
okay?
we just gotta run new wire.
Okay.
so I think that would be, I mean, being that we only have 3 war memorials in the borough of Munhall, I think that they should be looking great, you know, so that's it, that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Rondo.
So I have a good crew, of councilmen we should be able to get our heads together and do a great job. Thank you.
And Kevin, we probably ought to schedule a Memorial Day meeting soon. I can talk to you, maybe we can schedule one
Sure.
too, because we usually schedule one in February, early March.
Fine, that's
So
fine.
there is some planning to go on with that, and we have some other people, some citizens that serve on those committees too.
It makes
With the
you feel-
Memorial Day one.
Makes you feel better, the spring's coming too, when you have.
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna meet soon.
Makes
I'll
you
talk
feel
to you
better.
on it.
Yeah, I mean,
You helped a lot last year.
And if you attended the
It's
service
Councilman Shields.
that was up at the Homestead Cemetery,
Yeah.
it was great. It was hot, but it was great.
Hot's good.
Do you want to talk
Yeah, what's that?
about the building?
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
There's tentative plans through Rusty Firestone, who has done a great job with the cemetery. The cemetery was basically bankrupt, they couldn't cut the grass. What they're doing is, they're taking the old caretaker's home, they're gonna make it a chapel. And Rusty has big plans, and we got a hold of John Ondo, John's son Kevin's with the Carpenters Union. I was a member for years. We're trying to get some help to redo the house where we actually be able to have services inside for funerals, and they're back selling lots. And 10 years ago, I didn't think, I didn't know what was going to happen at that cemetery, and it's back up and running, and they have big plans up there. So, cross our fingers that everything goes forward, but it looks like, I mean, Rusty Firestone is doing a great job up there.
And Joe.
And John.
No,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah,
Yes, and what?
Memorial up at the high school, does that have anything to do with the veterans?
That's the high schools.
That's just the high
Yeah, they're responsible for that memorial up there. So,
Well, there's another memorial at the
Co-op.
co-op. Yep.
so that was done 2 years ago, Rob?
Yeah, there was a scout that we did.
There was a scout that got his-
2 years ago, I believe.
Got his Eagle Scout badge, because he redid the memorial up in the co-op.
Yeah, I think they're all for a different war. I think the co-op one is World War II.
Could be.
Is Main Street.
Yeah, 'cause my dad's on there, so,
Main Street,
you know.
World War I, and
Kennedy Park is World War I.
that's World War I.
I don't think there was a World War II one. Maybe there is.
Yeah, the co-op's World War II.
Co-op's World War II.
Okay.
So, if I could speak with Mr. Bicey about getting new branch flags for out here, that would be great. So if I could get the okay from council to purchase new branch flags, that would be outstanding. He could get on that right now. Bob? Yes?
Yeah, I can get them.
Cool. That's it, that's all I have. Any questions? Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, are you done yet?
You know, they both answer at the same time. No matter what you do, they both answer at the same time. It's like, these are like two minor birds, you know?
Been around each other too long.
Oh, my.
Way too long.
Okay, we're gonna move forward, all right? Let's calm down over there.
Please, sir, move forward.
All right, let's move on to code enforcement.
You have a copy of my report. The only thing I report is there was an unsafe structure at the 600 East 19th Avenue. Part of the porch collapse. Actually, there was 2 squatters living in the house. We had them removed and we boarded up the property. Today I just inspected a house on 14th Avenue. It just recently sold for over $200,000. It was $220,000 on 14th Avenue. So the houses are still going for a good amount of money in Munhall.
Is that a single residence?
It's a single resident house. It
Wow.
was actually burning Jimmy Pastor's old house.
Wow.
Just sold for $220,000.
Wow. I saw it listed. They did a lot of work in there.
No, yeah.
Okay,
That's all I have to report.
I have a question, Dave.
Sure.
The Morgan's Lane property, what the hell's going on there? We talk about blight. I drove by there one day, there's toilets piled up in the front yard.
The toilets are removed. Toilets are removed. He cleaned up around the area. He actually has plans of building a house there.
Well,
He's having problems with the sewer authority because of a septic tank and also PA American Water.
is he operating a business out there?
No, he's not.
Okay, is that one property?
That's one property.
Well, you can't have outbuildings on a property that doesn't have a primary building.
He's using it as a temporary storage building. We'll give him till August 31st. If he doesn't have.
That's too long.
Okay,
I
well,
don't want to go through whole summer watching that thing on West Run Road. No.
Okay.
Dave, he's operating business.
He's operating illegally there.
It's a disgrace.
That's the R1.
it's an R1 area. He bought the property. He was
Okay.
gonna build a house.
You can't keep a primary building on a lot that doesn't have a primary building with a single building in it.
Right, he's.
An outbuilding.
I mean, I could have him removed within 30
Well-
days. 30 days?
2 days?
What's he doing there to begin with?
His thing is to build a house there.
Why did you let them be there in the first place?
Because he was gonna build a house there.
So if I can build a house, I can put an outbuilding on it and let it sit there.
He's using it for storage.
He's operating a business out of there.
He is.
He's operating a business out of there as we speak. I see people going in and out. I see cars there. I drove up and it's a business operating right there on Morgan's Lane. Tim, you live across the street. You think it's a business?
No, it's not.
It's not. What is
It's
it?
not a business.
That is a Morgan's Lane address, which is R1.
He has employees parked vehicles.
Park there. They go to work out of there.
That's actually registered as a Western Road address.
No, it's not. Check with the post office. It's not.
It's not.
No.
His address is 1
No.
West Run Road.
And guess what? It's not legal on West Run Road either.
I'm just saying that's what his address is.
No, I went to the post office. It's a Morgan's Lane address. There's a box right there. They put their mail in. That's one of the boxes.
They don't have a key to that box.
I don't care if they have keys or not.
5 people who get mail.
The post office has a key for that
Yeah,
box.
the post office does.
For him.
Right. That's
For
why.
him.
That's why I know it's not a West Run Road address. It's a Morgan's Lane address.
It is a Western Road address.
No, it's not. Go to the
Okay.
post office.
No, it's not. It's not a West Run Road.
It's not a West Run Road
This
address.
is
You
more
may
than
want it
just
to be,
my
but it's not.
mother-in-law's
It's
best
not,
friend.
it's not.
That was why it was
It's
called
not.
Morgan's Lane.
It's a Morgan's Lane address.
Yeah.
Yes.
that's what it
It's
is.
not a West Run Road address.
You said it was West River.
Oh, I messed. I know. It's a Morgan's Lane
No,
address.
it's a-
Sorry. Yeah. Let me correct myself.
And-
You have your computer self pull it up on your, on the
I think we're in agreement, it's a Morgan's Lane address. At this point, Mr. Cannon is working with the property owner. He has a specified time limit. If there are not active building plans submitted for the construction of a property, everything will need to be vacated off of there.
By what time?
Oh, wait.
At this point, Mr. Cannon has given him until August to actually get the plan, the building permit and everything done, which includes getting either a septic permit from Alcoasand or Department of Health.
So he doesn't have any plans up right now.
he has plans.
He does not have plans, he does not have.
Nothing planned to submit
to
it.
us.
He has plans.
Oh, sure you plan.
Yeah, but Tim, you have to
Yeah.
admit, we all have plans. The thing is
We-
carrying them
we
out.
do.
I mean,
So if there is a sewer there, he will have to tie into it.
No, he does not.
Oh, yes, he does.
No, and that's what he's going back and forth with the county.
Well,
His property's big enough, he has to be 250 feet away from the sewer to put in the septic tank.
okay. We'll see.
Well, that's another issue in itself.
Absolutely.
But to sit there and let him sit there till the end of summer, I'm not gonna go for that.
At this point, Mr. Cannon is fully aware, has engaged the owner, and he is keeping me up to date, and is also conversing with the sewer authority, and will discuss with the health department as needed based on the request for the permit, because if the permit is denied for the septic, based on the distance, that will change things, and either way,
Then he can't build.
or he will have to tie in to the sewer
On West Front Road.
on West Front Road, and either way, we have set the date, plans and everything else, so he needs to get all of this straightened out, and.
You wanna
be
pass
ready
that down
go.
to him so you can show him it's a Western Road address?
I went to the post office, they told me no. I don't care what you have on your phone.
That's from the county tax, it's from our tax office.
Post office says it's not a West Run Road address. They get their mail, Morgan's Lane.
Honestly, that doesn't matter, I set the address.
I'm just saying.
Morgan's Lane address.
I'm the one who sets the address.
Okay, then it's showing on the county, it's a Western Road address.
Do you have any building permits at all, any kind of permits to do anything?
Not at this time that I'm aware of. Mr. Cannon?
The two things he has are considered temporary structures. He was using them for storage. I've been actually with his wife talking to her for the last year and a half on it.
You can ask him too.
I mean, his house was gonna be,
I'm not the only one gonna have to ask him
yeah,
questions.
his house, I mean, if you want me to give him less time to get him off, it's up to you guys.
yeah.
I mean, but I always try to work with people, they've been honest with me, they've been, you know, I mean, they wanna put a house
Dave, I
there.
understand that.
You know,
You're
they wanna
good
put a
person,
house-
But guess what? Just because someone's honest doesn't make it right.
Well, okay,
He's
well,
operating a business there.
okay, well,
Employees are parking there and going to work. It's a plumbing business.
well,
Yeah.
I talked to Mr. Eads, and he lives right across the street, and I've asked
Okay, I
him.
understand he's Mr. Eads' friend. That has nothing to do with what he's doing there. It's R1. I wouldn't want that business sitting across the street from me. Empty lot.
I mean, if you want me to give him 30 days, it's up to you. I mean,
Mr. Cannon and I will continue to
I-
work, and we'll
I'm
keep
fine with
council
that.
apprised.
If you both take a look at it and keep an eye on what's going on there, well,
What's going on there is not legal.
it's not legal at all, no. That's one of many, believe me. There's more than that.
What do you do to stop them?
What's that?
What do you have to do to stop them?
Ask the code enforcement officer.
yeah, you would have, I mean, I just have to go through the legal process, that's all.
How long would that take?
I've been dealing with a issue up on Eugene Street since May of 23. My next court hearing is not until March of 2024. And that was just for cutting grass, an automobile, and accumulation of rubbish and garbage.
It depends on how compliant the property owner is. Obviously, if he gives notice and they comply, it's easily resolved. If they choose to not comply and go through the court process, the backups are significant as always, and with continuances can easily and do regularly take over a year, even for simple things. Criminal items take precedence over civil, which is what Mr. Cannon files for criminal charge, or for
Civil.
charges. So,
You know what I did notice too, Dave? They had the fire at Interborough at Thanksgiving. They already tore the house down. Everybody see it? It's already gone. Now, it could be an insurance issue. If insurance takes care of something right off the bat, they go in and tear it down. But how's that work as far as, once a building burns out like that?
It depends on if they have homeowners insurance.
Right. Now, what if they don't, it sits there? What do we do?
So we have to go through, get funding to tear it down, or we tear it down. We just had an issue down on Margaret Street. House caught on fire, the guy was passed away. I mean, we're going to go through an emergency.
Is there not one at the end of 21st too that's boarded up, that was caught on fire years ago? The dead end side of 21st.
No.
The main
That was
building
torn-
down there, that was torn down.
that was torn
That's where
down.
the vacant lot is now.
Are you picking a lot now?
Yeah, I believe
There's-
the person next to it had the insurance that.
Yeah, there's four, like, actually, there's 4 structures in Munhall that were caught on fire. There's one up on, Cambria Street, quarter Cambria Street. There's one a little bit further up on Cambria Street on the right-hand side. The owners were had the house for sale, I don't know if it fell through or not. There was one on, Louise Street that has insurance money. They're trying to find, his son or daughter that has a lot of insurance money coming to that.
I know this is going back away, we still have the properties on top, at the top of Martha Street are just still hanging over the hill there too.
That's correct. Our engineer's going, I just told him the one's ready to fall in.
We are making arrangements for both, one of the houses on Martha Street. We previously applied for state grants for the demolition to do the block of them.
Right.
We did not get those funds, but there's one that has gotten significantly worse. Our engineers, I think, part of his report, but he's working on putting in a report for that, a request for that, and we had to redo our request for Martha Street for that fire that was there. So we are working to get those. Otherwise, the reality is this borough has not had the money and to do everything that we would like to do. Demolishing a house costs a minimum of $20,000 and because of where they're located around here, because they're tight spaces. And the one on Martha is gonna cost even more because of the hillside.
How do we apply for grants for that, through the COG?
There is a dedicated funding stream called Act 152, and that does go through the COG. Anything that goes through the community development block grant, the county requires to go through the COGs.
Because I saw, I think, in the Valley Mirror back in Christmas time, there was a list of municipalities that had a lot of money for demo. And we weren't one of them.
Yeah, we have applied, but yeah, I mean, there is only a couple $100,000 and there are millions and millions of dollars worth of applications.
How's that taken care of? Do you apply for the grants?
Actually, the COG does.
You go through the COG and
Yeah, they do a joint application. We supply the information and they put together a joint application showing, hey, this region.
One thing I have to say about demolition though is, once you tear a house down, you get zero money for the rest of your life and you have to cut grass.
What are we getting there now?
I mean, but I've been saving a lot of houses in Munhall. People are buying them and fixing them up.
Those are far and few between. They're out there. We have a lot more abandoned sitting.
We've had probably around close to 100 properties the last 2-3 years that people bought and fixed up. And they're going for a lot of money. I mean, there was one on 22nd or 21st Street, 102, Mr. Caroli came in and said, hey, we should tear it down. That house just sold for $185,000.
They're there. There's a lot more sitting doing nothing.
So just to bring another subject up that I really omitted, that I really wanted to talk about for 1 second was Ravine Street. We have possible landslides going on there a little bit. Are you gonna speak to that a little bit?
Yes.
Good, because I was on site and looked at it, and smarter men than me need to go there, that's for sure. So I'll let you address that. All right. Are you done, Dave?
Are there any questions? Any more questions?
Any more questions for Dave?
Well, just one question. From the fire from June, I know there were some residents that weren't in their homes. Are they back from their homes yet? There was a fire, the place was on Margaret.
Oh, Margaret?
Yeah. The
Well,
lady came to a meeting a couple months ago.
I believe she's in her house, that would be the house off to the right.
Okay.
And I don't know what insurance is doing with the duplex on the left. I know they were working it at one point, but I don't know if they're back in it.
I was just wondering if they were back in the homes.
The,
I'm glad they are.
the duplexes just got remodeled. I just did the inspection last week on it.
Okay, so they're all,
Well, they're
but
gonna be.
the one is being demolished though, the
Right.
one fire. That's all I have.
Okay, any other questions? Then we'll move on to Public Works.
I'll be short.
Thank you.
On my report, I put there, we had a, some kind of animal fall through the roof of number 5 firearm.
Some kind of what?
Animals.
Some kind of animal, I don't know if it's a raccoon I don't know what it was, but they fell through the roof, landed on the truck. I'm assuming it was a raccoon, I don't know, but we patched a hole in it, and maybe in next year's budget, we might want to put in for a new roof up there.
How old is that roof?
Well, the addition is 30-some years old now.
But didn't they put a new steel roof on there about 15 years ago?
No, it's shingle roof. Yeah, it's pretty bad shape.
Now, how bad was that roof that a raccoon would fall
How
through?
big was that raccoon?
I don't know, hole was pretty nice size, but it was about 10 shingles that covered it up. So I don't know if it chewed through it, if it fell through it, but it went right through the roof and the ceiling
How did he get out of the building once he went through?
and somebody must have opened the door and he ran out.
Any way he wants. You ever see them things?
It was a bear.
That's all I have. Any questions?
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you not having to send crews out and shovel snow and plow snow and.
Breaking my heart.
Work. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. Yeah. Let's move on to our engineer's report.
Back to Munhall number 5. We received a quote later in January. It was less than all the bids we received and the previous quotes we obtained. So we'd like to award that contract to Catoosh Remodeling. His price was $18,655 to replace the 2 units. We're in contact with him trying to facilitate a contract agreement.
Good.
Excuse me. The field investigations for 1900 West are supposed to start next week. And then Ravine Street that you wanted to talk about there. I think I was last week I was out there. Dave, myself, Dave Cannon, and Jackie from the Sewer Authority. I have Ackenhow Engineering, they're a geotechnical engineer, coming out this Friday to take a look at that. Given the complexity of the area and the steepness of that slope, I personally can't even fathom a way to hold it back. So,
No. Had it slipped any more since I was there before you?
yeah.
Did Dave say that it had slipped a little more?
I don't think so. I think it's probably moved about an inch.
Okay, so it really hasn't moved then.
Started.
But it hasn't really rained a whole lot.
Right.
Prior to that, it had rained quite a bit, and I didn't know. I mean, the smarter men than us need to go look at it.
I fear that if we get another good washout rain, that it's gonna go,
More?
yes. So that will, once Ackenhow takes a look at it, he can give us an opinion on what he thinks, what the fix will be, whether it be a short-term temporary fix or a long-term fix, and probably a cost. And then the 2 fire demos have been working with the county trying to get emergency demolition funding through the demolition department. So next month, hopefully, I'll have an update on where that stands. That's all I have.
Thank you very much, Matt. Any questions for Matt? I think you're on it. You're on top of it. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, let's move on to the fire chief.
We'll try to be brief, but I got a little bit to go over. In your package, you should have both of mine, the end of the year and the January. I'm gonna start with the end of the year. I'm not gonna read the whole thing. You're more than welcome to read through everything that I put in there. But for the year of 2023, we ended the year with 472 calls, 277 being in Munhall, and 195 mutual aid requests to other areas. Our average times for dispatch to acknowledgement was 2 minutes and 19 seconds. Dispatch to the first unit en route was 4 minutes and 9 seconds. And dispatch to on scene was 6 minutes and 12 seconds. For the year, the breakdowns are on the second page, but we had a total of 18,000 135.5 man-hours in between calls, training, and other details. It's a lot of hours. Some of the averages on the second page, we had average 39 calls per month. The busiest month was August with 52, and the slowest was February with 27. On that other second page, you can see some of the classes that we took, our community involvement, our fire prevention talks, details that we assisted with. Like I said, I'm not going to take up the whole meeting reading that, but you're more than welcome to look through that. But that's the basic numbers for the year. For January of this year, we had 32 calls, 17 in Munhall, 15 mutual aid requests. Our times for acknowledgement was 2 minutes and 13 seconds. To en route was 3 minutes and 26 seconds. And on scene was 5 minutes and 43 seconds. I don't have the total man hours. I'm still waiting for number 4's report, but right now we're sitting at 1,044, and we're going to add another 300 or 400 to that once I get number 4's numbers. As you know, we did have 3 firemen injured at the big fire at Homestead in January. We had 2 firefighters fall through a floor. One was also injured when a ceiling collapsed, injuring his shoulder. We had a 4th actually injured the day after, trying to remove a ladder from one of the trucks. It turned out that during the freeze thaw, one of the pieces of metal in the compartment warped ever so slightly and jammed the ladder, and when they went to get the ladder, it jammed his finger when it popped. But out of those 4, 2 are fully back to duty. One guy that fell through the floor has a muscle strain in his back and should be back to full duty come next week. And the injured shoulder is under physical therapy. Considering the circumstances of that, you know, we would take that as a minor blow, but thankfully it wasn't worse. So, other than that, I want to thank everybody for whoever was there for attending our night at the races. It was a huge success.
It was wonderful.
You know, sold out. Looks like everybody had a great time. Hoping to do it again next year. And early prelims are under the way that we've got notification that the waterfront's going to have their Girls on the Run race in May that we assisted with. It's going to be on Sunday, May 19th, where we got to block the waterfront off for the 5K race. More details to follow on that. But I think that's enough unless you have any questions for me.
Chief, how many fire departments responded to the one down here at Homestead?
All of them. I mean, I could say for Munhall, all 4 of ours went.
Who else?
But, sure, it went to a 5 alarm, so.
I saw a fire truck from Mount Oliver coming across the bridge.
Yeah, there was just, that has a lot to do with the weather too. You know, the freezing, it was 5 degrees,
Yeah.
30-mile-an-hour winds again. It always seems when we get that blast of cold air, something
That
seems
was
to
the coldest
burn.
weekend of the season, yeah.
You know, we're the hottest day of the year. There's really no, no in between there, but, I don't think it was as cold as the Vailwood fire a couple years ago, but it was cold enough.
Do we know what caused it?
You have to ask Mr. Eads on that one. That was his fire there.
Oh,
Under investigation.
Oh, okay.
It's nothing suspicious.
Okay.
I met with the engineers this week down there again. They're trying to figure it out. They brought the big dogs out.
This started in the first house that sits up on the hill, the first one.
Yes.
please thank the firemen for all they do. God bless them, they're volunteers, and they're running in when anybody's running out.
Okay, I'm going to move on to the police chief.
Thank you, Mr. President. Council has a copy of my report. For the month of January, we responded to 692 calls. We arrested 24 people. We conducted 59 traffic stops and issued 54 traffic citations. And we currently are accepting applications for police officer. The deadline is this Friday at 3:30. We have 12 applications out and 5 have returned so far. That's all I have. If you have any questions.
Can we introduce our intern?
Cool. Certainly.
Introduce the young lady.
Certainly.
The young lady in the back is the intern. Her name's Alexis Proof.
Alexa, please stand up so we can give you a Thank you.
She's been working with, not working, but she's been shadowing Shannon.
I know. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Shannon.
Chief, when it started getting warm again, can we make sure they're doing their traffic enforcement? Bunch of complaints, stop signs,
Always.
speed. It's the everyday things, but they're coming more and more.
We moved some of the signs around, right?
Yes.
The speed.
Yeah, we moved the speed signs around.
Okay, any other questions for the chief? All right, let's move on to the borough manager.
My report is on file. I'm not going to read through that at all. I'm going to give you some highlights over the past, actually, mostly this week. First off, I've been spending a lot of time chasing data. I've been working on data that I've gotten from Legal Tax Service, from looking at the blight, the roads, the other pieces, trying to put together and correlate some information so that we can have some targeted actions to work to improve the borough and the surroundings. In lines with that, I went to my first Connect meeting, which is the group of, used to be out of the School of Public and International Affairs at Pitt. But meeting was the infrastructure and resilience. Did that yesterday. They are, met with Tree Pittsburgh while we were there. They are close to finalizing a grant with the feds that will assist with tree planting, which may or may not eventually help with the issue on Ravine Street, but will certainly can help with our other steep slopes in other areas, as well as providing the benefits of shade, water retention, and the other pieces, because those should be at no cost. They are also working with Duquesne Light on EV infrastructure, and they are well aware of our grant award. So they're seeing how they might be able to assist us with some of the pieces on that for the charging infrastructure. And they also announced, if anyone had seen, I believe it was last week, the Heinz Endowments has committed $10 million in the 10 counties in southwestern PA to try and leverage the federal infrastructure Inflation Reduction Act funds. So that will be launching, I believe this Thursday. They're actually having a grand opening launching of the hub to try and provide at least technical assistance so that smaller municipalities can actually leverage those federal dollars. And again, that's being, the initial funds are coming from the Heinz Endowment. So did that. Matt and I were both on a call with the Army Corps today about the whole study along Ravine Street and the creek. They are hoping to have some type of report to us by late summer with some recommendations, at which point, once we review them, we can start, and they will also assist us in searching for grant money through FEMA, through the feds, but start actually putting together a scope to start making and taking some corrective actions to fix what's going on with the land and the erosion down there. That really covered a lot of my time.
I know you've been busy, and I'm glad you're working with Connect. That's a good group, and you can learn a lot, and I think it's good.
Sure. So I know we're moving on now, I guess, to items for consideration, but I got a picture sent to me this week of the son of one of our borough employees. I don't, how old would Johnny Vallis's boy be? 4? 5?
No,
I think
he's
he
about
said
6.
about 7.
He's about 6.
6?
I got the same
I
picture.
don't-
So he he decided that he was gonna get his dad, and they were gonna go out and they were gonna clean the property down at the bottom of Marion Street. For a 7-year-old to say, Dad, let's go and clean this up, that's saying a lot.
Yep.
So I know that they're not here, but it's being videotaped. Thank you very much. That was outstanding. So a 7-year-old, great.
He also regularly cleans around the playground at Trotman Field. I've seen him there many times cleaning it there. And he's, I talked to his mom and John, you know, this is something that he kind of does on his own. He wants to do it.
Yeah, so
Awesome. Awesome.
So,
Yeah.
thank you.
Be commended.
Should bring the little guy
Thank
in.
you, George.
That's what I was just thinking myself.
I thought about that too, yeah.
Bring him in, tell him thank you.
Get the weather a little warmer, we'll get them in there.
Yep. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so just to pause for 1 second, I want to thank the Public Works guys for hanging the pictures through the council chambers, if anyone's not noticed. There's still a few that need to be put up, but that's a good job. Thank you, Bob. All right, so let's move on for items for consideration for the regular meeting. This is just to go over and talk about this so that we can talk about and get prepped for next week. So, Seth, I'm going to ask you to read these this time.
I will.
Thank you.
So the first one is approving the purchase of Savvy Citizen as an annual subscription for mass communications with residents. And as Mrs. Fry noted and Mr. Hunt, we have not had a mass communication system in I don't know how many years. At one point,
Never had one.
Okay. I had paperwork that I guess we researched Code Red and looked like we had.
No, we
So
didn't.
we've never had one. For anyone who doesn't know, at least, and with Savvy Citizen specifically, they offer, you opt in. So I don't know if anyone subscribes to any of the county ones where you can choose, like, I want to know about parks events, I want to know about various events. We can set the categories people can choose, so you're not going to get inundated with every single announcement there is. If you don't care about road closures or when the borough office is closed, you won't get them. But they have, you can do it by downloading their free app, at which point it sends out a push notification, which almost all of us get when your phone kind of lights up and goes, hey, this is happening. Email or text. We would work with them to set up the categories, and then emergency management, police, and myself would each have our own logins. If there are things that need to go up, they can all be done from our phones. So if there's something at any given point that comes up, nobody needs to run, or, you know, if it's the middle of the night and someone calls me, I don't have to boot up the laptop or hope that I have it with me. I can do it all from my phone. As part of their program, they also, they have a $600 fee that they charge in the first year that actually comes back to us in marketing materials in however we want them. If we want door knockers, if we want, somebody wanted like flags posted outside the building. So that's budget that we give them, then they then work with their vendors to get the branded materials. So it's kind of a zero cost in that sense. I did review Savvy Citizen. I did a demo with Catalyst, who provides our website. It actually did not integrate quite as well as Savvy Citizen did. I also reviewed Code Red and Nixle. They're set much more for emergency communications and not as much for the day-to-day stuff that we may want to do about, hey, there's a meeting happening, the Halloween parade, whatever it might be. And it so happens that Savvy Citizen is based in Pittsburgh. So I'm supporting a local MSA, it's actually the company, Management Science Associates, that does it. So my recommendation is that council authorize us to enter into a subscription agreement with Savvy Citizen, and we can get rolling on that.
Any questions? Any thoughts? I think it sounds good.
I agree.
My biggest concern is if we have something that happens down on the railroad and have to evacuate people, we have no way of doing that. And if you want another East Palestine, it could be worse because there's a lot more people down the waterfront.
As far as the police chief goes, how would you be able to use this? Coming
With the phone
with the
also.
phone? Like, what instance would you have to use that? For anything
If he has a slum situation,
Right,
and
right.
keep out of the area.
that? Okay.
If there's a road closed because of a fire or something like that, 'cause people,
If there was a
come.
lockdown at the schools, would you be part of that too?
They have their own,
They have their own.
but we could do it on ours too.
Right.
Okay, I think it's a great thing. I think
I do
it's
too.
awesome. Yep, it's a means to communicate with the public.
So the next one, the Munhall Community Band is requesting the resolution from council to allow them to apply for the small games of chance license, very similar to what Munhall Cares had done a couple of months back. Our solicitor has reviewed all their paperwork, their 501c3, their charter, their bylaws, and he has deemed them to be appropriate. So I will be asking council to write up the resolution and asking you to approve that next week.
Mhm. Any questions on that? That's pretty cut and dry.
Also, another one, hopefully cut and dry, residents at 207 East Larkspur have requested handicapped ADA parking in front of their home, not their homer. The chief and Officer Miller?
Yes.
Correct. Officer Miller's now reviewing the applications and then going over from the chief. They've approved the application, so we'll be asking council to approve the installation of that sign.
I was just gonna mention that if it comes to council for a vote for approval, it's already been approved by the police department. They've looked at all that stuff, just for the general public to know. So go ahead.
So that is it for the definite items for the regular meeting. I do have under new business, a couple of other items that I did place in the same format for council, but I placed them as discussion items.
Right.
Dr. Spellman reached out to me about the AEDs on, I believe they're on Main Street and also possibly 8th Avenue. The Main Street Association had purchased them years ago, and he reached out to me asking the borough to take over responsibility for them, to replace the batteries and the pads and everything.
Where are they on Main Street?
I believe he has one in front of his building.
Fire hall?
I think there's one at the
Fire hall, I believe he said there's one down at Triborough Credit Union, which would be down on 8th. But I believe he noted there were 5.
I like to get locations so we can let people be aware of that.
Well, right now, apparently they don't work at all, so we do not want people aware of them.
Right, right.
But the question would be whether or not council wants to take on ownership of these items and the ongoing maintenance, or if it is something that we should look for alternative means, including re-engaging Main Street and see if they would continue. Because right now, we have 6 AEDs here. We do it through a contract with Cintas, and they come and check them monthly. They replace them every few years, but that runs, I believe it runs about $630 a month.
Wow.
And these are ones that are placed outdoors. I do not know how long the batteries and pads last when they're outside, so it is, taking it on would be an ongoing commitment the council needs to be prepared for.
Have they ever been used? Did anyone ever use them in Main Street when they were there? I mean, I'm just asking.
We taking on replacing them or just replacing the batteries?
Well, depends on how old they are, and that's part of, as I wrote in here, like fiscal impact is unknown based on the condition and whether or not the borough would actually take on the ownership of them, because the AEDs, the units themselves may no longer be any good.
Would that be something that we could look into a grant for, AEDs?
We absolutely could. I believe they were funded by a grant initially, but like most things historically, we get the grant funding and then nobody follows up on the maintenance, because these batteries have probably been dead for years.
You know, the kid from, the place for the Bills, from McKees Rocks, he had a big foundation that was giving those away.
So
But a truckloads, he was giving those away.
If I'm not mistaken, the police cars have them, right, Chief?
Yeah, we do.
In the fire company, they have them as well, right? Fire chief?
Yeah.
They're in the fire trucks.
There was a big thing before Christmas, he was in town, and they were giving them away.
Well,
Them things, besides the batteries and the unit itself, how long does that last?
I don't know, because I've never actually seen them, and that's what I'm saying, we'd have to evaluate the
I know
entirety.
the answer to that, because I first serviced ours at our surgical center. I had to check them every month, that's the key.
Right.
You actually have to check them every month. And so when I did that, if the battery was low, then we just bought a battery. They lasted forever. I
So-
never had to buy any more.
They're inside though, right?
I had,
They were all inside?
they were all inside,
Okay.
4 operating rooms. They were, it's,
so let me ask you.
You have to have one.
Let me ask you. Do you have to be trained to use one of them? You do.
Well, it's very simple. I mean, on it, it has instructions too
Okay.
on how to
There's
do it.
direction
And you
on it.
push a button and it talks to you and tells you what to do.
What you-
That's what ours did.
If you'd like to take off your shirt and lay down, we can open one up. and-
I would not like to
You
do
know,
that.
they're-
No, thank you.
We had them at work. So there's a group of us that we had a short class, but it basically talks your way through it. It talks to you.
I unfortunately did have to use one once at a previous
Did you?
job on somebody.
Wow.
And it, yeah.
Is this
it-
for someone who's having a heart attack?
Yes. It will actually evaluate the rhythm and tell you
Right.
whether or not to
If
shock.
it's,
and when
if
to
it's
shock.
out of rhythm, it won't let you shock. It won't work. It tells you.
I'm not
It's-
familiar
it's
with
very-
it, that's why I'm asking. That's
It's
all.
very,
They're designed to be just that. If you're not familiar with them, you can take it out of the case, open it up, and it will tell you step by step exactly what to do to help that person. That's why they're in all the public areas. And
maybe we should have a little
anybody can do
demonstration
it.
here someday, seriously.
We can,
I mean,
I
it's-
think it'd be great, Glenn.
Can we have a,
We'll hook it up to you.
What's
so
that?
I'm thinking, can we have one brought in and something we could like go over it real quick some night?
I mean, they do make training units. I don't know if we have them, but I would always.
We do.
Okay, and if not, there are certainly always classes that are ongoing. I know I just posted one that's ongoing CPR, first aid, and there are community classes, but Jen, you guys said we do have training units?
Out of curiosity, once you use that defibrillator, do you put it away and you can use it again the next time?
You
Or
just
is
need
it
new
like
pads.
a
Yeah,
fire
you
extinguisher and you gotta fix
No,
it?
you just need new pads.
You just need new pads? Okay.
And check the battery.
Yeah, check that.
Years ago, you had to be trained for it when they first come out. All the police had to be certified. The police department had 2 of them at one time when they first come out. Where one was bought by a fund and the other one the borough bought.
Lowe's
And
Home
it-
Improvement just donated 3 of them to us last year.
Nice. Well, I think it's a discussion. I mean, I don't know what council's feeling is on it.
My recommendation, as I wrote to council, is that we not take action on it immediately and send it, whether it be myself, through the fire company, through public safety, that we really get some detail, but that did come forward, and because it was a request for us to essentially take on ownership of it, I did want to bring it up as a discussion item.
Absolutely.
And then I can, we'll gladly move forward with research.
Absolutely.
Next are the 2 items, 7 and 8, because that's how they'll show up on the agenda next week, are the items that we talked about for Public Works. Actually, we only talked about one of them. We do have, as was mentioned, an opportunity to purchase a used roller for $12,500. The one that we have is pretty much beyond repair. The parts aren't made for it anymore. A new roller, I was looking, 65 to 90,000.
80,000, he said they're buying a new one.
Yep. The roller, again, we already have one, but it's just not working right. It allows us to pave the alleyways and do overlays when needed. For smaller items like that, we can do it at a lower cost than bringing in an outside contractor. And we do own the paver, so this would be replacing a piece of equipment to allow us to do things. It would also, we would be able to sell the old one. I do not know what it would be appraised at, but it would certainly decrease the cost from the 12.5, which is
a much, much lower cost than what we were talking about in the committee. So we'll be asking for approval of that. And while this one does not need immediate action, it fits in with it. Again, this has been discussed at the Public Works Committee. The purchase of a broom unit for the Public Works skidster. We do have a multi-purpose, for those who don't know, a skidster is a multi-purpose vehicle. It can take different attachments. We have a broom unit, but it is not the kind that you need to clean the road so that we can do the paved jobs. It will get down into the divots and areas where you need to clean. It's very much just a surface clean. Public Works has requested this in the past. If we're going to be looking at being more serious about our paving, it is something that I would recommend, and that they are recommending we get. It can also be used, well, it's not good for street sweeping, just because the skid steer is not good for that. We can also bring it to a site, like if we go back to August of '22, when we had some cleanup to do and getting rid of some of the fine particulate there in the short term. Last I looked, when we were first talking about it, it was somewhere around 6,500. I need to get the specific specs for our vehicle again to get a firm price. So the options that I kind of list are approve with a price up to 7,500, do not approve or refer it back for us until we get a firm price and come back to council for that appropriation. Okay.
These weren't budgeted items, so we have the funds to do it. Where are they gonna come from?
So, right now, I do believe we have the funds because, A, as I mentioned, Mr. Bicey hasn't had to use any real plowing overtime, and when we built the budget, I built a contingency fund in there in case we needed to use more than the minimum purchase of salt.
It's coming out of Public Works.
The contingency fund right now, which was, again, the contingency was designed for salt, and we will not need to purchase any more than the minimum amount of salt before the July 31st deadline. So there are funds in there definitely for that.
Do we have a lot of salt left over from last year?
Nope, no, have you seen, we're scraped dry.
I don't know.
No, it is actually still coming out of the, it's coming out of the salt shed still. We have more than we need still.
I kind of thought that, but I wasn't sure. I don't go back there very often. I don't go back there at all.
You can go sledding on it.
Really?
That happened, what, over the summer once?
Okay. You done?
Unless you want me to add anything, I mean, I can go through the proposal.
No, I think we're good. I think we're good with that.
I get a copy of the roads. There we go, James.
I got a question for the two chiefs and Officer Shannon. It really piqued my interest the other day. I saw a commercial on there for that life vac. You know, that thing that you,
I
for the
have-
kids choking.
Oh, yeah.
I have one.
Yeah.
Do you feel, I mean, they're not, I looked up the price, they're not really that expensive. What would you do if you got a call because somebody's choking to death? What? Heimlich? Because I was pondering buying one for my house, my grandkids.
Grandkids, yeah.
I bought mine, and one's for an adult and one's for a child.
Yeah.
And because I have a little one that comes.
And they're not expensive.
No, they're very cheap, actually. If you think it can save somebody's life, I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
They're pretty amazing.
Well, the reason I brought it up, do we maybe, we'll talk about it, do we think that maybe we should have one of those in our?
Yeah, I could look into it, yeah.
They're
I don't know
really
what you're
cheap.
talking about, I haven't seen one before.
It's just a mask,
They're very cheap.
and you
Pops out of their mouth.
plunge it and
Okay.
Swallow
swallow it,
some,
and pop.
a kid swallowed a toy, you'd be able to
Yeah.
pop it right out of their mouth. Right?
I gotta get one.
Yes, when you get the package, there's a big one for an adult and a smaller one for a baby.
Yeah,
Face piece.
Yes.
If you have a grandchild, you want one.
Oh, yeah.
I know I'm gonna,
Definitely.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
But they did say, I looked it up, they did say that there are companies that make like aftermarket ones, but they're not the same as the Life Vac.
No,
So,
I got the light back. I
Yeah.
would take that.
okay, just thought I'd ask.
Website
Chief,
for
I'm
it.
sorry I didn't ask this before, but I'll
It just
just
comes
ask
up
now.
easy on a search.
Did we hire
you
the
ordered
two
them
crossing
online, or-
guards, or are they on?
We did, one's on Main and Oliver, and the second one turned it down. But I'm still trying to talk her to coming in because there's another post that just opened up at Main and Longfellow Drive. I mean, West Front and Longfellow Drive.
We're really having trouble getting people to do that job as crossing guard. I mean, there's always an opening there for at least part-timers. You know, if somebody doesn't want to do full-time, there's always openings, but we still need, we need backups, because the chief and I were talking, some days we can have 2 and 3 officers out doing crossing guard duty.
There was several days, a couple weeks ago, that we had 5 open posts. There was only 3 officers working.
Oh, wow.
What kind of certifications you have to have at all your
Clearances.
clearances?
You need Act 33 and 34.
Chief, one more thing for you. I want to thank Patrolman Velisca, lead that fire on 17th. He went home and grabbed some kids' clothes for the kids that were in that fire. I forgot to thank him earlier, but make him known.
Sure.
Thank you, we appreciate that.
That's
Wow.
nice.
Them kids,
That's nice.
them kids need it.
Any other public comments?
Yeah, I have one.
Yes.
Actually, I have 2. One, if you go on the website of the American Red Cross, you can sign up to get free smoke detectors in your house. They'll come out and they'll install them for you.
Wow.
You just have to sign up and figure out an opening, and like I said, they have a crew that comes out, they'll hang them, and they no charge for it.
So all you have to do is call the American Red Cross up and
Yeah,
ask them to come out to your home,
right, free,
and they'll supply you and install smoke detectors.
With a 10-year battery.
Wow.
I did it. I called about my daughter. I got the call back today and they said, you might have to wait 3 to 6 months, but we will take your name, we will put you in your area, and when we're there, we will.
There's no income requirements, nothing.
No,
no,
no.
So I'm just saying that because, just so you all know, we are recording the meeting tonight. So this will be recorded so people can see that and listen, they'll hear that, and they can grab that information. So go ahead, what's your second comment?
2, I give all you guys a book about emergency preparedness. I am willing to go out and talk to any organization. I just had the privilege of talking to the Steel Valley's oldies but goodies last Tuesday after the community room. And I think I got a pretty good response from them. They asked a lot of questions. But if anybody wants to get a group together and talk about community preparedness, I'm willing to come out and do it for them.
Great. And I think we'd be willing to post a night to do that for the borough as well. I mean, we could do that. The borough could do that. We could set it up at a fire hall, one of the fire halls, if you wanted to do it through there. If you want to be proactive and say, hey, we're gonna have a community event, number 4 fire hall. If you want to come and meet us for an hour and a half or an hour or whatever. So if you want to do that, you could do that too, Daryl.
That's another good reason for that community system. We can
Right.
get the word out. that way.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Cover both at the same meeting.
Yep.
I plan on going to the high rises and talk to them,
Mhm.
to try to prepare them a little bit.
Well, they probably need special preparation there too. Something happens.
That's a good question. We talk about the smoke detector. Do they supply those in the high rises for them, or do they have to supply their own in the units?
I don't know about the high rises, but you'll have to talk to them on it. But
I think they're.
they just finished up a campaign, but a couple months ago.
They're wired.
Yeah,
They're wired.
They won't do high rise, but I could talk with Glenn, not the guy's number. We did a campaign in Homestead, we did, I remember how many houses it was.
Yeah.
It was a Saturday morning, one Saturday we went out, hit every house, would say, hey, we're gonna come by this Saturday, we need them.
We used to get 100 or so donated every couple of years, that we used to keep them in the fire trucks, and we haven't gotten that donation.
The kids,
Since COVID, once COVID hit, that kind of stopped. So
The
we
kids
always
are
used to
in
carry them in the
campaign.
fire trucks, and if we would go to a call and nobody had a smoke detector, we would install it while we were there at that particular call and do it for them, and then the Red Cross got involved and they're doing their program, but yeah, we haven't been able to get any donations of detectors since COVID.
good, the kid that runs the campaign for the Red Cross, he's actually from Munhall. So I'll get you his number, I'll help you set it up. It's a good day, I mean, it's a lot of walking, but,
Do you install them too? Just hand them over?
No, you install them and everything.
Wow.
You make sure they go up.
That's important, you gotta make sure they go up.
Yeah, so you install them and every house that needs them, you can do it. So, I mean, that's something we can put together if you guys want.
I think it'd be great.
I got your number and
Be
contact,
positive.
so we can go that route.
I mean, nice. Hats off to people who do that. I mean, that's,
Daryl,
if
John
you
and I
save
didn't
one
get a special
person,
book
that's all
like
it matters.
Ravine did.
Yeah,
We'll get over it though, I
For the
guess.
little children.
yeah.
You didn't get the special book today, you know. I've only known you for like forever, but you know.
So any other public comments?
Hey, I don't know how you people feel about this meeting today. This was a great meeting.
It was.
This was a great meeting.
Very informative.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna, if there's no other public comments, I'm gonna ask, we're gonna have an executive session after this meeting. So I'm gonna ask for a motion for adjournment.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for attending.